So we have Jonathan on to talk to us a little bit about his sub two deal. Um, Jonathan's a Gator with me, and I met him in Charlotte when I did one of my meetups. So welcome to the YouTube channel, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at in real estate and what brought you to Gator.
Oh, so a little bit about myself. I am a Army veteran as well as you are. That was one of the things we had in common.
Yeah,
I'm also a former law enforcement. While I was in law enforcement, I kind of realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do for my whole life, and I got my real estate license. Started doing some conventional real estate as a realtor on the side while I was still in law enforcement. And then did that for about a year or two and decided that I was going to make my exit from law enforcement. And we moved from New Hampshire to North Carolina and started doing our own business full time. So with my fiance, I own a luxury cleaning company. So that is our full-time business. I also have a couple other things that I dabble in, crypto mining, and I have a metal sign shop. And then real estate has always been kind of a passion of mine, I guess. I like all the intricacies of it. That's sort of the type of personality that I have. So I like to figure out all the loopholes and, learn all the knowledge that most common people don't have. So I found Pace and started watching some of his videos, Pace Morby, and he didn't seem like the rest of the influencers out there. He seemed like he was, somebody who was more genuine to me, and legit, and not just trying to make, a buck off of whoever and not really provide a whole lot of value. So after watching a lot of his free content is when I decided to pull the trigger and buy his Gator course. And I love it. It's been fantastic, great community. And honestly, I'm hoping to get into the sub two community probably next year.
awesome. Yeah, like we would have never connected if it wasn't for Gator. And you came out to check out my Morby method deal that I did. But you have a sub two deal going right now. So let's jump
I do.
into that. So how did you
Okay.
find it?
So it was on the free Pace Morby Facebook group. Um, I'm not going to consider this a home run by any means, but excuse me, it was a brought to the group by a group of wholesalers, and they got it direct from agent, which adds another layer. So that's where I found it.
Okay. So let's run through some of the numbers and where you're at in the process right now.
Sure. So entry fee on this was 29K, so I'll be all in probably around 34 or 35 after closing costs. And the total price that's left on the mortgage, I believe, is 227. So PITI, principal, insurance, taxes, and interest is going to be around 21 a month.
Okay. And what are you doing with this property?
So I'm actually going to be moving my family into this short term. It's better than where we're at right now. We're right in the heart of Charlotte, and we're not really city folk. So when we lived in New Hampshire, you know what I mean, it was a half an hour to get anywhere. I had 5 acres of land. I was able to step off into my backyard and get some target therapy anytime I wanted, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Um, and it's just being in the city, it's not really my cup of tea. So this is a little bit further out of the way, but still close enough where we can come in and tend to our businesses that we have here. So the plan is to move there temporarily, year, probably two absolute max. And then after that, I have a couple of different options that I'm thinking about. Potential for a wrap because it's a 5.25 interest rate. So depending on where we are, A year or two down the road, maybe we're even higher in interest rates, and that would be a good wrap. If we go down, then who knows, maybe I'll refinance.
Yeah.
But definitely, if not that, then probably a short-term rental is where we're going to go with it. And that's actually what we're doing with the place that we're in currently. It's going to be a short-term rental.
All right. So, like, tell me a little bit about the sub two process. First, explain what sub two is for some people that might not know, just quickly. And
Yeah.
how does the whole process work?
So sub two stands for subject to the existing mortgage. So basically, um, in a nutshell, I'm taking over somebody else's mortgage, but having the deed transferred into my name, actually my company's name. And it avoids having to deal with getting approved for a loan and going through the banks and that whole process. It makes things a lot easier for investors to acquire more properties, without having to deal with the conventional banking route. And what was the other part of your question?
Kind of run us through like from start to finish how it worked. How did this deal come up?
Okay.
Like, how did this deal move through the steps?
Yep. So, got in touch with the wholesaler, who was advertising the deal, and actually wanted to take a look at it, which they didn't have a problem with. So I went out and met with the agent who had the listing. Um, they kind of wanted me to tiptoe around, and not tell them that I was the end buyer, and that I was just working with them, which is kind of normal when it comes to wholesaling because they have the potential for different exits, and a lot of people have kind of a bad taste in their mouth about wholesalers because some have uh
Not great
what's the word
ethics.
yeah, exactly. But no, this group was great, and met with the realtor there. Love the property. It's a brand new build. It's only a couple of years old. So that went fine. And then after that, I signed their assignment of contract, looked over all the paperwork, signed that, and then a day, maybe two later, I actually went to the closing attorney's office in person and dropped off my EMD, earnest money deposit, which was 5 grand. I was a little bit concerned at first. I wanted to vet everything, this being my first sub two. So I know that Harry Marsh is a title attorney, from all the videos that I've watched from Pace. But these wholesalers didn't really want to go with them. They had a bad experience with them. So we ended up going with Sperry, um, which was fine after I was able to find them on the North Carolina's state secretary LLC lookup. I was cool with that and able to go see them in person. So everything shook out, and gave him my EMD, and now we're just kind of going back and forth about so I'm still learning on this. And I wasn't sure if I'm going to be closing this in a land trust or if I'm going to be doing it under one of my LLCs, or how all that works. I've been hearing different things on both sides, like land trust, don't do it because you're going to get taxed at the highest bracket. Don't worry about closing it in an LLC. You can get past the due on sale issue no, without any problems, is what Pace was saying. But then I see other people that are in these deals, and even students of his that are still using land trusts. So I've been batting it back and forth. Still talking with people about it actually at this point, but it looks like we're probably going to be closing it in a new LLC that I set up.
Okay, so not putting it in your business LLC, just a brand new one, keep it completely separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a subsidiary of my holding company.
Okay.
All of these have anonymity.
So
Yeah, so all of my LLCs, they're done with a registered agent so that my name isn't on the state website. So I can't be tracked on all this stuff. I have a holding company that has several subsidiaries underneath it. So I just created another subsidiary under my holding company to hold this property. And I'll probably put other properties in it as well. I mean, some people put up to 10 in their LLCs, so probably keep piling them on. 3 to 10 is usually what I hear.
Yeah, I guess it's all on your comfort and risk level. Some
Right.
people go by, value, how much equity they have in it, because you can put a bunch of properties in there, but if there's not a lot of equity, there's not all that much to protect, really. But
Exactly.
yeah, cool. So you are still going back and forth and kind of in the middle of this deal. When do you see this possibly closing and actually having access to this property?
So the closing date is the 5th. We're coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah,
Um, in the face of transparency, because I love to be transparent about things. I'm a little bit concerned about something for as far as funding goes, because I had some assets that I sold off, and I was supposed to get I sold them on the 12th. I was supposed to get payment within 7 to 10 calendar days, and that check has still yet to come. And actually was just in contact with them yesterday, and they're going to be overnighting. They had to cancel the check. So now they're overnighting me a check, which I'll have in my hands tomorrow. But then, as we all know, banks like to hold on to your money, especially big amounts that are come like this one that's coming in. So I'm going to be right down to the wire on having all the funds that I need liquid to make this wire happen. So I may actually need a day extension, but we'll see.
gotcha. Yeah, I have funds held right now that it's going to be taking like 2 weeks to get my funds accessible, which sucks. But yeah, big checks, the banks don't like to clear them right away. So,
Yeah.
all right. So you're right to the point where you're just waiting to close at this point. You have pretty much everything in line. Um,
Yep.
cool. And other than that, I think we pretty much covered it. It's I'm sure there's a lot more detail into certain stages of sub two, but it seems pretty good. I mean, I like what you're doing with the property. You're not planning on keeping it long term. You're just, I don't know, this is like a stepping stone for you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to continue moving further out west. We like the Asheville area.
Yep.
The mountainous area is really what it's about for us. So what we're doing is we set up shop in Charlotte with our luxury cleaning company, built our brand, built it up, have cleaners in place and all that stuff. Now we're slowly moving further out where we want to be. So when we're in Shelby, we'll continue to expand in that area and then have it all mesh together until we get to where we want to be in Asheville. And even still, like I've always kind of been that guy that's, 3 bags full. So um I can up and move anywhere at any time if I need to. And some other areas look a little enticing, maybe Texas, maybe even out of country.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you built your cleaning company up so that you and your wife don't really have to be there running it anymore. You can kind of be a hands
We're
off with it.
We're getting there. So
Okay.
we're still in the day-to-day operations at this point, but we're getting to the point where we're going to be able to, eventually put in an operator and step away. We're just not quite there yet. So most of our time is spent in the cleaning company, and then secondary to that has been real estate for me. So like I'm always on the Facebook groups and looking
Yeah.
to see what kind of deals there are, and you actually just saw one that I was looking at that
Yeah, yeah,
had the seller
definitely.
finance attached. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
low
I'm
entry
looking
fee.
to,
Yep.
yeah, exactly, trying to make things happen here.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's really cool. It was awesome meeting you, and I'm glad you came on for the interview and just talk about this deal because that's something I haven't done, and I'm really trying to do some sub two deals in the future. Um,
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
any
We need to do
clothing?
some deals together, Paul.
We sure do. Yeah. Any closing thoughts you have, and before we jump off of this?
Um, I mean, just if I can do this sort of thing, anyone can do it. And really the way to build generational wealth is through real estate. So you should be out there trying to make the thing happen. And if you're watching this video, it's obviously something that interests you. So, just start taking action and make it happen.
definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and well, I'm sure I'll have to have you back on when this is completely done to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, anytime, man. It's a pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan.